Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Knothole Gang. We're looking at the backside of Rise of the Resistance from the top of the Mickey and Friends parking structure and taking a look once more at the rockwork that is being finalized on the backside of the attraction here. As always. But again, as often is the case, I get distracted because I still am trying to define what that is. It looks to me now, I can see more than we used to. That looks to be a building, a structure, a roof of a building. And perhaps, you know, the cube, because remember that there's cube back there. You know what? Next week, that's what we're going to do, guys. Next week, we're going to remind ourselves of what is behind those trees. But there's the rockwork that they're finishing up, and now we'll take a look at the top of the Rise of the Resistance building. There is a structure there, you know, going back to that other area, that is the cave-like queue. And I have forgotten what it looks like, and I want to remind myself. One thing you'll notice as we scan the top of this building is that there's no scaffolding anywhere, hardly. Well, there's the one at the very beginning of the structure, which we'll get another look at later. But that's the first sign of scaffolding that we've seen in quite a while, and then we go back to no scaffolding. The rockwork, guys, is nearly done completely. There are just a few areas where they are still working on this, from this perspective at least, which is fantastic. They're going to finish this before the parking structure? Can you believe that? That's what I'm hearing anyway. Here's one of those, these spires are still way behind in terms of, they've just stopped working on these, it looks like. But those are behind on getting completed. But yeah, look at, no scaffolding on any of that. That blanket right there, no scaffolding. There's this one spire here. That's got some, obviously, that we just saw before. I cannot believe we're reaching the end game on this every week as we do this. We're finding that out. And there again is the remaining area of rockwork. And they started on this part late. We'll head over to the Mark Twain and Rivers of America. And today we're gonna pay a little attention to one of the dome structures that so shocked us. By the way, there's a look at that hall. I'm still trying to find any progress on that hall that's down there. That's near the exit for Rise of the Resistance. But we're going to pay some close attention to the dome structure that appeared from the river that was our first sign of, like, you know, what do you want to call it? Just observable theming, Star Wars specific theming. And that guy right there is what I'm talking about. God, remember the first time we saw that, guys? What a magical day that was. That was so amazing. And the reason why I wanted to pay attention to that is because it looks like it's gotten a paint job since previous views. And we're going to get another look at here in a minute, so don't fret. But I wanted to catch, you know, these areas, catch the shuttle ship there, and you know, the area, the green tarped area. But there we go. Here it comes back into focus, and we're getting a nice clean shot right here between these trees. So we'll pause for a second and compare that to a scene from a month ago where you can see that there's definitely been, you know, a change in the scenery, not just the dome structure itself, but also in the, you know, the areas around it. It's so fascinating to watch these things evolve and sort of the gradual progress that it goes through. Let's zoom in a little bit on this. The scaffolding kind of distracts from our ability to see some of the finer detail because, you know, you can't see through it in some ways, and we just don't get the full picture. But it was a very plain gray dome, and then you compare that to today where the scaffolding is down, and we focus in a little bit on that, and it looks like it's gotten sort of a darker a darker tone to it, at least on the dome, the actual roof of the structure. And then if we zoom back out, take a look at the spires around the dome structure. Here a month ago, they looked darker. Now this was a higher contrast shot. You can just tell if you go back that there's way more contrast to that shot than there is today, based on the sun and the weather conditions. So it does look darker, though I don't think it is, because they haven't repainted it since then. I don't think it looks as done as it's going to be in both cases. So that could just be the contrast, but you can see the progress of the spires on its left. And look at it looks more fuller on the left today than it did a month ago. Fantastic. Let's continue. Oh, we're going back to look at this stuff. I try to see what I can way to the right early now when I'm on the Mark Twain, because you get a better view of the stuff on the right, a better view from far away than you do as we get closer, which is interesting. But oh look, there I am trying to get that hole down there again. But yeah, it's before we start making the right turn around the back side of the river that we get our best views of that dome and those areas down there. So I try to get them early, and then I come back and get this stuff. I don't know, this is probably boring the crap out of you, but this is how I work. This is how it goes. And another close-up look at this building that they are building. Now again, we're going to get a good look here. Here's another look. Again, that looks darker, right? Doesn't that look certainly as darker than it was a month ago? And this is the low contrast shot. Here it is a month ago. Now I wasn't zoomed in, so we'll have to do that now. But certainly they hadn't finished the paint job that that it has today. Now let's do this. I want to compare this to how it looks on the model. Here's a shot from high above, and that's it right there in the top leftish part of the frame, right there. And you can see here that it does have a darker, roof coloring. Although this is kind of it gets a little pixelated as we focus in. Let's see if we can get another shot. This is another long distance shot, but it's more high res than the other one. But there it is, way in the right. And I think if we zoom in a little bit on this one, we get a more higher resolution pic, or view, I should say, of that structure of the dome next to, it's like a landing platform of some kind. So that's a pretty cool looking shot of that. And it does compare nicely to what we're seeing on the ground. And then finally, here's one more right in the middle of the frame there. And again, we'll have to focus in a bit. And that gets a little pixelated too, but still, there you go. That's what they're building there, or that's what they've built. It's done, as far as I can tell. Let's continue. Isn't that cool, man? They're just making that model come to life right before our very eyes. I can barely stand it, how cool that is. I love models. That's why I want to have like a train set in my house that I can just build and sort of craft to my own liking. And then one day, what I would like to do when I'm $1 billion is to make whatever train set I build and bring it to life somewhere. And I have to think that is actually legitimately Walt's process. When he loved trains and he loved miniatures and models, and he probably had something like that and he wanted to make it real. And that's where Disneyland was born, is that he wanted to make his train set real. I truly believe that. Wow, I just had a moment. I am now going to be useless for the next 10 minutes. I'm sorry, you guys. Here's some views of Galaxy's Edge. There again is that hull structure. I just wish I could see. I don't know why I'm so desperate to see how that looks on the ground. Hey, look, there's the dome again. Can't quite get a good view of that, but look at how these things are evolving. That's the stuff that we see way to the left when we're on Mickey and Friends. I mean, yeah, the parking structure. That's those spires that we're seeing there are the spires that we see way to the left of frame. Curious, they don't look like they're. They don't look like they're good. They look like they're going to be exposed. Like you can see them. Oh, hey, we have to go. Sorry, we have to go to Toontown to Chippendale's treehouse to look at this stuff. Which I'm going to do a fun update here because this is a view. This is a thing that has fascinated me watching the progress of this area, and that is this far right shot just as we reach the edge of the Chippendale view. We see these domes here at the very end. And what I've been noticing is that there's one dome in particular that just doesn't seem to go anywhere. It's been there for a long time, but it doesn't seem to go anywhere. And I wanted to sort of watch it evolve and see if I was right. See if that dome has just been going, just sitting there as a skeleton this whole time. So that's our view today. Now we're going to go all the way back to our very first day. This is from June. And there it is. This shot is a little closer in, but you can see that's the skeleton right there. If I'm not mistaken, that is the framework for the dome that we're looking at in this shot. And by the way, look how much more full that view is today than it compared to this view back in, I think it was June. Now let's jump ahead 1 month. And there again, okay, that's definitely. Now there are 3 domes there. There's the one in the far left in the background. Then there's one in the middle that is just starting to get its roof done, as it were. And then there's the skeleton of the dome in the foreground. So that's July. Here's a month later in August. Very sunny day, high contrast day, so it's kind of hard to see. But again, we have the completed dome in the background, the one in the middle that's gone through its next phase, and then you can barely see the framework of the foreground dome. And then you can also see that a spire has begun. That framework right there is the beginning of a new spire. Jump ahead a month. Wow. Things are getting busy. But still nothing. There's nothing on the dome in the foreground. And then the one in the middle has made a lot of progress, and then the one in the background looks white, but that's probably not the case. And then another, maybe 2 more frameworks have been erected. It's going to get to the point where those spires that are under construction are going to block our view completely of the first dome that we saw them build, to the point where it looks like there's only just the 2 domes. Watch. Here's the next month, and there's more. You got mesh being built around the framework, and the dome in the background is starting to disappear a little bit, and the one in the middle is looking finished, and still nothing on the one in the background. And then this is last month. I'm sorry. This is in November, and that spire the set of spires that we watched them build are now behind a tarp. And of course, no progress again on the metal framework. And then here we are today, where that almost completed spire, it's still behind scaffolding, but it looks like it's nearing completion, and it has blocked our view almost completely of the white dome in the background. So we got just these 3 rows of domes. Okay, let's continue with another close-up shot, just to view the some of the close-up detail of all of these structures. And these are all areas that are going to be on the ground in the market section, or in the back of the market section, as it were, of Galaxy's Edge. And underneath most of those domes, if I'm not mistaken, are going to be other spires or other buildings, full-on buildings beneath it. And then back on the rivers of America to get one final look at that dome structure and the views that we can of the rockwork there. And there you go, guys. That wraps our update of Galaxy's Edge this week from the Knothole Gang. Thanks for watching. Sure appreciate you guys a lot. Don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. And until next time, you guys, we love you. Fresh baked! We've got lots more videos for you to see, so grab a churro and check out some of our other videos and have your mind blown by how much fun we're having. We truly are the best of Disney Bake Fresh Daily. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time. Fresh baked!